All right, in this video, we're going to be going over FreeCodeCamp's Build a String Transformer. This is for the JavaScript certificate. If you're new to the channel, my name is Rob. I'm a coding instructor. I kind of built the Code Zone school. And so what I'm doing with these modules is I'm coming at it from an instructor's point of view. So we're going to kind of go through it. We're going to talk about it. And if that sounds like a good video for you, then keep on watching. And the one thing that you can do to kind of help us out here before we get started with the lesson is go ahead and hit the like button if this video is up on YouTube. That really helps out that YouTube algorithm. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started with this. Now, as far as this goes, it looks like we are dealing with some string methods. So these string methods are really pretty neat with some of the stuff that you can do with them. And like I said, we're just going to start out with this and go step by step and see where it goes from there. So it says in this workshop, we're going to be practicing the replaceAll and the repeat methods for building a string transformer app. And like I said, once we get into these methods, I'll probably talk a little bit more about it. But it says, let's go ahead and create a variable to start off with. And we want to set that value to I love cats. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this. Now, whenever we're talking about strings, we always want to make sure that we have those double quotes on there. And as far as the variable goes, let's just go ahead and utilize that keyword of let. We're just initializing that variable, and the variable name is original string. And then, of course, we want to set that equal to, and that's what I was talking about with the double quotes here. We definitely need to make sure that we wrap those around there. And again, we can go ahead and click on check the code, and hopefully it will pass. I'm assuming it will pass. And if you don't know some of my videos, sometimes I forget the semicolons. Semicolons are always optional in JavaScript. Usually in my IDE of Visual Studio Code, when I hit the save file button, it automatically puts them in there for me. So I may not do it all the time, but it might be a good practice for you all to do that at the end of each one of these lines here. So let's go ahead and check our code. We got the congratulations, the code passes, and we're going to go ahead and move on to the next step here. All right, so step number 2, it says below the original string variable, go ahead and add a console log with the rest of the string here of original string. And then below that console log, go ahead and add another console log with the variable original string. Okay, pretty simple here. All it's asking us to do is just do a simple console log. And inside the quotes here, we want to put original string. And we probably want to make sure that we spell everything properly in order for the tests to work. And then lastly, we want to do another console log. We want to go ahead and add in the original string. And that this time it is the variable. And so notice that over here in the right-hand side, we got our console and we see the original string. And then on the next line is the original string. So that's one thing to kind of think about when we're doing the console logs. They kind of stack on top of each other. And the other thing I typically bring up in class is, it doesn't matter how many spaces you put underneath here, it's still going to output the same. It doesn't shift the console down any. And this is still staying true to their statement as far as, hey, make sure we put a console log below the variable. And always remember that we can't access a variable until it has been defined. And what do I mean by that is if I come up here and I go ahead and paste this up here, we're going to get an error. Now, usually I don't see undefined unless this is a var. Okay, so there might be some sort of issue with FreeCodeCamp, but as far as, because right now I should have gotten an error of it not being defined. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and bring that back down there. Okay, let's go ahead and check our code because it should work. Congratulations, the code passes. Let's move on to the next step. So step number 3 here, it tells us that it says in a prior lesson, we learned about the replace method, which is used to locate a substring in a string and replace it with another value. And the thing that I also wanted to bring up with this is whenever we are utilizing the replace method, it's finding the very first contact of it, and it is replacing it. So meaning that if there's several words in there that match that, it's only going to affect the first one that it comes in contact with. And it says, remember that strings are immutable, which means that the original text is not modified in this example. A new string is created instead. We can go ahead and take a look at their example. It says, go ahead and create a new variable called replaced string. So let me go ahead and do that. And again, we're just following the pattern. Like we have like a template here, and we can kind of go off of it. I know I used the keyword let. They used const. I can go ahead and use let here again. I'm sure it's going to change it to const, but we'll see. It says that we want to call this one replaced string, and we want to assign it the original string, and we want to utilize the replace method. And we want to replace the cats with dogs. So instead of it saying I love cats, it's going to say I love dogs instead. So I'm going to go ahead and make this just a little bit wider here for us to work with. And so I'm going to do the following. I'm going to say, hey, look in the string for cats, and I want to replace it with dogs. We're not going to see anything happen right now because we haven't console logged the replaced string. And I'm sure we're going to do that in the next one. But just while we're on here, if I just do a real quick console log of replace string, you can now see that I love dogs. And the other thing that I wanted to bring up with this is if I love cats, notice that I'm trying to replace cats with dogs. But notice that it only replaced the very first iteration of cats. It doesn't continue on with the string. It's like, hey, once I found one, I'm done. I'm giving up. Okay, that's what this one means. So anyways, let's go ahead and check our code and see what happens here. Oh, I forgot to, it says you should assign the original string to replaced string, and maybe I misspelled it. And so I'm going to go ahead and put it there. And then I'm also going to remove this part here. Let's go ahead and check our code. There we go. So a little bit of an issue, but we solved it. All right, moving on to the next step. All right, so step number 4, it says, now it's time to see the results. After this, let's go ahead and add a console log with the value of after using replace method. And then below that, let's do another console log of replace string. All right, simple. And notice that it did change my variable to a const. Again, nothing wrong with that, unless we wanted to change this variable later on. So we'll just do a console log, and we want to go ahead and utilize this. So I'm going to copy it and put it in here. Next, it says we want to go ahead and console log the replaced string. And this time we don't need quotes. And there we go. We see that I love cats, and then we see I love dogs. Let's go ahead and check our code. Notice that I didn't put my semicolons in there, and it still accepts, it still works. Like I said, I'm not always going to do that, but don't do what I do. Follow what you need to do. And let's move on to the very next step here. All right, so we're going to stop right here with this step number 4. Now, if you're looking for steps 5 through 11, feel free to come take a look at our Code Zone School. It's free for you to join. You can take a look at the videos there. And if you are having any types of troubles or any types of issues, make sure that you leave it in the comments down below, or you can leave them in our group. But until then, hey, thanks for watching, and thanks for subscribing, and hopefully we'll see you in the Code Zone.